Four teenage clowns strutted around in brown belts like they were martial arts royalty. The second, a quiet black girl, stepped into their small-town dojo. They pounced, sneering like hyenas circling prey. "Look what just walked in," Tyler muttered, voice pitched high enough for the room to hear. His friend Chad added with a smirk, "Bet that GI came from Goodwill. Black kids don't belong in here. This ain't some hood gym." Their laughter spread like mold, cheap and contagious. They thought Maya's shy eyes, small frame, and second-hand uniform meant she'd fold. But what none of them knew was that every stitch of that GI carried her late father's lessons, the kind of training no spoiled brat could buy. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. The autumn breeze rattled through the strip mall parking lot as Trina's old Honda sputtered into a spot. Maya clutched the neatly folded GI in her lap, the fabric worn but treated like treasure. "You've got this, baby," Trina said, squeezing her daughter's shoulder. Maya nodded softly, repeating her father's words like a prayer. "It's not about being tough, it's about being disciplined." Inside, the dojo smelled of wood polish and sweat. Faded posters lined the windows, while rows of trophies gleamed like silent judges. Sensei Carter greeted them at the front, his crisp white uniform spotless, his black belt tied with precision. He welcomed Maya gently, but from the training floor came snickers. Tyler, Austin, Chad, and Blake leaned near the water fountain, their eyes glued to her like vultures circling fresh roadkill. Trina's jaw tightened as she filled out the forms. Maya, pretending not to hear, focused instead on the neat stacks of gear. She bowed to the sensei, just like her father taught her, then disappeared into the locker room. As she tied her belt, muffled voices carried through the thin wall. "She's what, 6? 9? Austin mocked. "This isn't daycare." The laughter made her hands tremble, but she remembered the knot her father drilled into her palms. One end over, through, pull tight. When she stepped back into the lobby, Trina's eyes filled with pride. The four boys smirked from the mats, already plotting her humiliation. The boys lined up like they were auditioning for a bad kung fu movie. Brown belts tied tight, swagger turned up to maximum volume, and yet the second Maya walked past, Austin couldn't resist rolling his eyes so hard it's a wonder they didn't fall out of his skull. "Everyone line up according to rank," Sensei Carter called, but you'd think he said, "Everyone act like clowns." Maya's white belt stood out like a spotlight, and Blake fake coughed, "Babysitting," setting off another round of snickers. Really? Babysitting? At a dojo? The creativity level was in the negatives. But here's the kicker. Trina was watching from the lobby, fists clenched, biting back the urge to drag those boys across the floor herself. Now ask yourself, when four spoiled teens decide to test a new kid, is it ever about karate? Or is it about flexing their daddy's privilege? Exactly. And it was about to get worse. Warm-ups started. Jumping jacks, push-ups, stretches. Maya moved with precise rhythm, muscle memory from nights training in the garage with her father. But Austin just had to open his mouth. Bet she learned that off YouTube. The irony? His push-ups looked like a dying walrus on the beach. But then came the whispers that cut sharper than any punch. "Look at her trying to act disciplined," Chad smirked. "Her daddy probably bought her a black belt from Walmart before he died." That line was meant to hit low, and it did. Her arm faltered for just a beat. And here's the question. Isn't it always the weakest kids who bark the loudest? Sensei Carter tried his mild warning. Focus on your own form. But his voice had the authority of a broken car horn. The boys only grinned wider, trading smirks like playing cards. Then came the partner drills. Tyler's voice dripped fake innocence. "Sensei, maybe the new girl should try sparring. Unless she's scared." Can you imagine? A 16-year-old towering over a 9-year-old calling her scared. Pathetic. But here's the twist. Maya didn't flinch. She stood straighter. She said quietly, "I'm not scared." And just like that, the balance in the room shifted. The boys wanted a show. They had no idea they were about to be the entertainment. The dojo floor turned into a circus ring the second Tyler's challenge landed. Parents pressed closer to the glass like they'd paid for front row seats. His father, suit pressed, jaw tight, looked ready to record his son's big victory. But here's the truth. When rich parents show up smiling, you know someone's about to get away with nonsense. First round, me versus the new girl. Tyler announced, milking the spotlight like a reality TV villain. His friends snickered from the sidelines, already scripting Maya's humiliation. And here's the burning question: why is it always the loudest losers who think they're legends? The circle formed. Maya bowed properly, every movement precise, respectful. Tyler barely twitched his head, smirk plastered on his face. Austin muttered, "Don't blink. This will be quick." Chad piled on, "Yeah, hope somebody brought a stretcher for the charity case." Racist venom dripped under every word, as if a 9-year-old black girl was some kind of prop for their comedy act. Sensei Carter raised his hand. "Begin." Tyler charged like a drunk bull, sloppy, wild, all muscle, no brain. But what did Maya's father always say? Technique beats strength. She slipped sideways, hooked his arm, pivoted, and boom. Tyler slammed onto his back, air knocked out, his father's phone lowering in stunned silence. Lucky shot. That's what Austin barked, fists balled. But answer this, if it's luck, why did he charge in next like a fool? His swing was wilder than Tyler's, fueled by pure rage. Maya ducked, swept his legs, and Austin face-planted like yesterday's trash. The gasps from the students told the story better than any slow-motion replay. Now the room wasn't laughing, it was holding its breath. Chad shuffled forward, trying to look brave, but his hands shook. One strike to his solar plexus, clean, controlled, and he doubled over, gasping like a fish out of water. Blake? The boy looked like he wanted to teleport out of the room, but peer pressure shoved him in. He circled, finally lunged, and in seconds he was on the mat too, sprawled beside his buddies. 4 brown belts down in less than a minute, so tell me, who looked like the real beginner now? The dojo was frozen in silence. 4 boys who thought they ran the place were now sprawled on the mat, groaning like broken toys. Maya, 9 years old, bowed respectfully, while their parents stormed out of the lobby with red faces and muttered curses. Funny, isn't it? When their kids were the bullies, it was all boys will be boys. But the second a black girl flips the script, suddenly she's dangerous. Students crept closer, their awe breaking through the hush. A younger kid tugged her sleeve. "Can you teach me that sweep?" And here's the twist. You could feel the respect finally shifting in her direction. Respect they'd never planned on giving, but couldn't hold back anymore. Trina stood in the doorway, hand over her mouth, tears brimming. Her daughter wasn't just surviving, she was showing the entire town what real discipline looked like. But of course, rich privilege doesn't back down quietly. Tyler's sister spread rumors at school the very next day. "She's crazy. My mom says she shouldn't be near normal kids." Racism wrapped up in fake concern. Typical, right? And the whispers spread. Neighbors stopped waving. Anonymous calls left threats. Even the dojo's coward of a sensei caved, suspending Maya's membership to cool things down. Liability, they called it. Let's be honest. Liability was code for, we don't want to upset the rich white parents. But here's the part nobody saw coming. Maya didn't quit. She found strength in her father's memory, in her mother's fire, and in the allies who stepped forward. Mr. Jefferson, the old janitor who'd seen it all. Sensei Ruth, who once trained her father and now pushed Maya harder than anyone. Even classmates like Emily, who refused to sit back and watch the lies win. When the regional tournament came, Maya's name was on the list. Not because the town allowed it, but because she earned it. And when she stepped into that ring, she wasn't just fighting 4 boys anymore. She was fighting a system that told her she didn't belong. And justice? Justice was watching her stand tall, unshaken, carrying her father's legacy for the whole world to see. So if you're still here, don't just watch. Like this video, share it, and tell us in the comments what justice means to you.